Hello everybody, so nice to be back with you on this gray, rainy, ugly Wednesday. Good day to sit inside and watch an interview on Instagram. Not a great day for the golf course, but there are still people out here. Good to be connecting Connecticut with you again. So excited for today's guest, which is this place right behind me. Robin Tauk, nice to have you with us. Marie, nice to see you as well. We're talking Longshore today. What is the future of the Inn at Longshore and that restaurant that is formerly known as Splash and Pearl, and soon to be named a third restaurant that we hope will stick around. A quick reminder, all past videos are right here on Westport Magazine, starting with Dan Orlovsky and Craig Melvin from the Today Show, Mike Greenberg, Jane Green, Stephanie Shostak, Coach Adam Behrens, by the way, the most viewed video on this feed. Close is the Principal Stafford, and of course the superintendent. Thanks to all of you who have joined us. DM me at Dave Briggs TV to let me know who you'd like to see interviewed, or tell me right here in the comments section. Yes, that includes you, Jen Tooker, Christine Finch-Olenek. Let me know who you want to see interviewed, because we'll try anybody. Scott Gottlieb is the only one that I can't seem to pin down just yet, if anybody's a friend of the doctor. So get your questions in as well for today's guests, who are Charles Mallory and Michael Ryan, who have taken over here at Longshore, can answer these questions about what is next for this hotel and this restaurant and the glorious patio out back that we were hoping to sit outside on and have a few drinks, but the weather did not cooperate. So we'll go in, we'll talk to Charles, and I know a lot of you have asked about the golfers and the tennis players. Don't worry, we're gonna pin him down on that one. But in case you haven't been in a while, here's a look around the old place. I think Dan Woog described it best when he said tired. But it is beautiful, and it is a treasured spot. And let's go talk to our guests about what they plan to do with it. Michael Ryan, Charles Mallory are all hanging out, all well lit, their first ever Instagram Live experience. They're as impressed by the technology as I am. Hello, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys in this live shot, which is a real tricky thing. How do we do it? I've never done this myself, holding both cameras, but nice to see you guys. How are we doing?
Great to be here. Great to meet you.
Thanks for visiting.
I feel like this is much harder than I thought it was going to be, handling all the phones, so I'm just going to do it straight from this camera. Here they are, Charles Mallory and Michael Ryan. Nice to see you guys. The town is very excited about what is to come here at what I feel like is the crown jewel of the town, but hasn't been in quite a while. With all due respect to the man who used to have the lease, it has fallen out of repair. I think Dan Woog, the local legend, described it as tired, but it's beautiful. Why did you get interest in this spot, Charles?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It really was the opportunity, and an opportunity to do something great for the town, for the culinary sort of brilliance that already is Westport. We always think that we can help raise the bar, and it's a high bar already. I think the design and decorative components are going to be challenging in the sense that we want to preserve, and that's very important, and we also want to enhance without taking away the history, which of course is, in recent years, the history of this place has become much more well known because of the Gatsby movie and book, which is a great book, by the way. I really enjoyed reading it during COVID. And turns out actually one of my classmates in school produced the movie, which is even kind of funnier.
Very cool.
Yeah, and well, his grandfather was F. Scott Fitzgerald's publisher. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it made sense. But anyway, no, there's a lot of history, and I think we can. We just want to try and bring that back and preserve and enhance and bring it into the 21st century.
I hope so. Westporters feel a lot of ownership in this place, and I think it's really only one of 2 or 3 spots in town that we feel that way. It's the golf course, it's Longshore, maybe a few other spots, but people have felt saddened in recent years. Michael, tell me what to you really stood out about this opportunity and about this location, beyond the obvious, which is the view.
Well, I've been a Westport resident for 15 years, been a regular at the golf course, and have been to the prior 2 restaurants here, and was just fascinated by the history of the building and the potential that it has, and as I've gotten to know the building even more so. The bones are really good, and we look forward to taking it to the next level.
The bones are good. The view is spectacular. The restaurant hasn't been what people... let me describe my experience with both. Splash was great meals in the beginning and a good vibe and never really got the bar right. And then Pearl, great meals, never really got the patio right. And then the experience, much like at Splash, just kind of went downhill. What has gone wrong with the restaurant, Charles, and what can you do to make it right?
I'm not the best person to talk about what went wrong. I think that we've just got experience, hopefully, and I say this somewhat modestly and with no credit to myself, but of having some restaurants that have done well, and because I think we do things in a very first-class way, and the customer comes first, and we spend a lot of time with detail and great culinary leadership from Chef Frederick Kiefer. And so I think it's more a matter of us trying to do things well the way we do it. Michael's been a great ally, Michael Ryan, in helping us fine-tune and tweak our restaurants. And so that's it. I think it's really more a matter of just us trying to use what we do best, and I think having a beautiful room is also something that's important.
People know Charles Hotels. They are, of course, the Delamar in Southport, in Greenwich, and in West Hartford as well.
West Hartford and Traverse City, Michigan.
That I did not know.
Don't forget Traverse City.
That I did not know. And so the second you took over this lease, the question was, are we going to have Artisan? Are we going to have Lascaux? Is it going to be at that level, which I think are both fantastic restaurants. I love them both. I don't know that I bring my kids to either one, which is notable when it comes to Longshore and how much people love to bring their families here. Will we have essentially an Artisan or a Lascaux? Or are we in a different environment, do you think?
I think let Michael answer that
question. Okay, great. We will.
He's more the
Michael,
local.
The question's yours. Do you think this will have an artisan feel, or will it be more family friendly? Or what are you shooting for?
I think what we're thinking about doing, and we're pretty close to finalizing the plans, is we're gonna do something more casual than Artisan, and we're planning to do a full remodel of the inn in probably the beginning of 23.
Beginning of 23, full remodel.
Yes.
Okay.
And we will do a restaurant for the next year and a half there. And whether it stays or that gets remodeled, we're still working through that.
So when would you expect a restaurant to open?
There'll be something there this summer.
There will.
Yes.
Something there, but not the finished product?
It'll be good. But we know that Longshore has a diverse community that's here year round, especially with the golfers, all the different athletics, the boaters. We will make sure we cater to that clientele. They're already here. And they're in our minds, definitely. Okay,
I submitted questions, and I have to tell you, and we're still taking your questions, so please put them in here. Put your questions right in here. But the questions submitted ahead of time were all about one particular group, or two, really. Can you guess what I'm talking about? No. So it was golfers and tennis players. That's all anyone wanted to know. And as a golfer, it was one of my first questions. We've always walked off the 18th green and wanted a 19th right here. I'm told this used to be a golfers only bar from what I understand, right?
We would be behind the bar right now.
Okay. And so tennis players tell me the same thing. They want a place to have a drink afterwards. It's never become that for various reasons. Maybe they were no longer felt welcome. It was just never the right fit, either for the restaurants or no one felt welcome. How will you address that? Because the golf course is open.
Well, they're definitely in our mind, and we will try to be as friendly and open. I'm a golfer here, so I've experienced that. So,
okay.
I would go to Splash and Pearl after golf, and they'll be high on our list.
So there will be some way to cater to that large group of local customers.
Definitely.
Are you a golfer?
I am not a golfer.
You're not.
I used to be a tennis player, so I'm not the right person to comment on this. But I do think there is a plan to have a general redo of the whole facility,
okay.
the whole of the golf course, and I think that's all part of maybe the longer term project, and that hasn't been by any means finalized or even fully bid at this point. But what happens with that big plan might have some impact on what we do here and how we cater to those constituents.
Okay, I've got it. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go ahead and give you an idea. So we're gonna be allowed to have some drinks down at an improved driving range, much improved driving range, we hope, and we're gonna call it Thirsty, kind of like first tea but thirsty. You got it. And we're going to be able to have a drink down there on an improved driving range where we can somehow hit a driver into a net, perhaps. You think about it, okay? You can sleep on it. I own the name Thirsty, though.
Okay.
I already made that.
You got
okay.
the licensing?
Yes, I've got it all.
Yeah. Franchise agreement?
But Michael, you talked about a remodel of the hotel. The hotel and the rooms have been described as quaint, which is a nice way of saying he or she's about a 6 or really nice. What do you hope to improve the most, and how will the rooms be improved?
Well, we think we're not looking at going outside of the footprint of the building and adding any new rooms.
Is that right? So there's 12, right?
12 rooms. It'll remain 12 rooms.
Why not grow it?
It's just we feel we want to leave it as the inn at Longshore.
Okay.
I think that involves a much bigger discussion with
The
town, planning and zoning, and again, I think there is a bigger conversation that's not really part of our purview at this point.
Okay.
But I think the town is going to be, making those sorts of decisions. I mean, I certainly have heard that there's been talk about, the driving range becoming the 18th pole, or something along those lines. So I mean,
I saw those plans about 10 years ago online.
So again, I'm not a golfer. I don't know much about it, but those sorts of issues I think need to be, put on the table, and there should be a holistic, discussion, and we will be very happy to participate in those discussions.
Well, Jen Tooker is watching right now, so I know she's worked very hard. She was very happy to have you guys in. She worked very hard, so a shout out to that group that got these guys approved as the leaseholders. I think we've just laid out the future here. So Michael, if you could talk a little bit more about what you will do with the hotel. You said you will not grow the footprint. What do you plan to do?
Well, we're obviously still working through our plans.
Sure, this is all preliminary. What would you like to do?
Well, I see upgrading, really touching just about every space in here. Obviously, the rooms will all be improved. We'd like to improve the view of the water from the rooms, which is slightly impaired at this time. There's a lot of mechanicals and things that have to be worked on.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work we're doing now that people aren't seeing is all, mechanical type work that we're upgrading. But we really think that the way to do this properly will be to do a close, and so we can do everything, the things that need to be done, new roofs, and everything else that goes along with it.
So we would have, close theoretically in a winter and not during the wedding season. Yeah.
Correct. We have our first wedding this year on April 10th. We have not had an event since last March. So it's been...
Is that right?
That is right. Well, we've had events outside, smaller events, but we have not had an event inside since early last March.
Okay, so in-person gatherings, large normal gatherings start when? When's the first wedding, you said?
April 10th.
And we can just be as many people as you want.
Well, the current guidelines are 100 inside, 150 outside.
Won't that be a glorious day?
Actually, 200 outside, sorry, yes.
And what about events? Will it be more welcoming to Westporters, to events, both in the ballroom and in that glorious patio?
That is part of our plan, definitely. We've talked about that a lot. Had a lot of people from town in and walked through the property with us, gathering a lot of information, talking to people that know the building, been in here for years, the history of the building. We're just soaking all that in. And
What are people telling you? What's the most common question, concern, complaint, suggestion?
well, I think the most common thing we hear is this: nothing has changed. Whether it's the ballroom or.
When was the last time it was renovated?
I don't know.
I don't know that it ever has been.
Oh, it definitely
It has.
No doubt.
Okay.
There was, there were improvements made, but there's a lot of work to be done. So,
The leaseholder was here for 22 years?
35.
I'm sorry, 35 years. Yeah, it's a long time.
And just let things.
Well, I think he kept things up to to a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's at a certain point things do get tired, and I think at a certain point, there needs to be a major investment made, and a major sort of repositioning, and that's sort of the position that we're in right now, where we're going to have to, make those sorts of big moves.
Mm-hmm. Emily Sackett, will the restaurant open to the public this summer? Michael said he does believe by June.
I think mid-June, probably earliest.
By mid-June earliest, some restaurant will be open to the public. If we could get drinks on that patio sooner, that'd be fantastic. Charles, do you feel, is there a responsibility that when you take over a place like this, because of the relationship this whole town feels like they have with it?
I think there's a huge responsibility, and I think that's the way we approach all of our projects. And, I think we've had a good track record at being a great steward. Oops, looks like the other television camera's ringing there. I don't know if you heard that in the background, but
We had a phone ring, but it's all good. We're unfazed.
no, we take the responsibility and relationship with the towns very seriously, whether it's Greenwich, whether it's Southport, whether it's West Hartford. We've very, very engaged and want to listen and hear what people have to say.
What are you hearing from people?
Everything you've talked about.
Just that it's tired, that it's slept.
And hope something great is done.
Yeah.
And they're very excited, I think, that we're here, and we're excited to be here. And as I said, I think we have a great team. Michael's going to be leading the charge on a day-to-day basis. So it's again, we'll just have to. We want to make the right decisions, and we're not going to make quick decisions. We're still sort of sourcing and interviewing various people who will be doing various things, and it'll all roll out in due course.
I'm told there's a Modigan says there's a new floor and carpet in the ballroom that look awesome. So far so good. Is that under your direction, or is that okay? Great. So we're off on the right foot, and people recognize that. I assume it will still be called the Inn at Longshore.
Even that's. I think the answer is yes, but there may be.
Yes, but.
I think we're going to explore whether there's tweaks to that. Certainly the restaurant is going to have a different name, to be sure.
Sure.
No firm decision. My guess is probably.
My guess is the Delamar at Longshore.
No, I don't really think so. I think that Delamars are typically bigger hotels, and they have spa facilities, and that's sort of where we want to push that particular brand.
But will it feel like a Delamar? For those of you that have been to the Delamar, I'm sure you've been to Artisan and Southport, even the Delamar in Greenwich and Lascaux. Will it feel much smaller, have the same feel as a Delamar?
Well, I think there will be a feeling of quality. Mm-hmm. And I think there's no particular decorative theme that we've focused on. I think one of the aspects of Delamar hotels are that they're there's a feeling of quality, but they have different aesthetic and different, different sort of feelings of, in Greenwich, you feel like you're either in the south of France or Italy. And, West Hartford, is very contemporary and very sort of Four Seasons like in terms of its elegance, in terms of its sort of simplicity.
And this is a different place.
Yeah. So each one has a different feel.
When you talk, feel is so important in restaurants. Just ask Bar Taco. I mean, the feel, the vibe in a place is everything. What do you want this place to feel like, Michael? Is there a restaurant? Is there a hotel that you go, yeah, that's about right? Like, what's your favorite restaurant in Westport? Now you're on the spot.
Well, I have so many.
Okay, name them.
Well, I'm a big fan of the Well.
Anything Bill does is pretty good.
Bill and Mossimo, yep. Cottage is great.
But those aren't necessarily the feel here because, again, fantastic places, but I've never brought my kids to either one.
Yeah, well, we want to take advantage of our location on the coast. We've got the large terrace up top and the patio below, which is extremely unique for Fairfield County, and we want to take advantage of that.
What's stopping us from having drinks on the Adirondacks? Is that allowed by the state, by the city, town rather?
Very good question. Maybe
I've always wondered why I can't have a cocktail in those chairs. For anyone who's been to Block Island, you sit down on the most glorious chairs and you have a drink.
Maybe one of the town officials that are watching can respond to you.
Yes, they always do. They're very responsive in this town, I will tell you that. Do you have a favorite restaurant in this town that you would say, yeah, that's about right for me in terms of food and feeling?
In Westport?
Yeah.
I think the Welk is. I've not been to many here, and I hate to say it, but because
of that needs to change, Charles.
Well, no, but beyond COVID has certainly curtailed my movements, or my wife's movements in particular.
Right.
So I really haven't been out as much as I used to, and but that's certainly one that I have been to and did like and do like, and
how important is it to have? How much attention will you put into the bar, to the patio? Because that is, beyond the golf and the tennis, that's what I hear over and over again, is people want to come here and have a drink and feel like this patio welcomes and belongs to Westport.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, the outdoor bars that we have in Greenwich and Southport sort of speak for themselves in the sense that they've been very welcoming, and I have no reason to believe this will be any different. And with the same, people are involved.
Yeah, artists in the patio nailed it.
Yeah, and considering that was a parking lot, there is no view there. There's not a single blade of grass.
Yeah, and yet you feel like...
And you feel like you're in someplace special. And that was literally a parking lot.
And the view we have here...
is wholly, that's going to take care of itself.
It's the greatest location of any hotel restaurant in this region. I don't think it should be the crown jewel of Westport. I think it should be the crown jewel of Fairfield County. There, I said it. That's what I think this place is. When I first walked up to it in 2008, that's what I thought. And I always waited for something like this to happen. So obviously,
we'll have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, and in terms of all that, Michael, before we move on, how long do you think this grand plan will take?
Oh, I think we'll be there in the summer. We'll have a full plan ready by the end of the
You'll
summer.
have a plan ready.
Oh, yes.
But by the time, we're talking a couple of years, 2023-ish.
Yeah, 2023 is when theoretically the construction, the winter of 23 is when we'd be in a position to start doing the major construction and repositioning.
Okay, so
summer of 23, in other words.
It was 1960.
Yes, we'd be back.
1960 when Westport purchased Longshore Park for just under $2 million. So this place has awesome and extensive history. Another one of Charles' acquisitions also has some incredible history, and I hope you know it. Lime Rock Park started in 1956. It is the
57.
You're right. It was built in 56. First race was in 57. Nice job, Charles. Third longest continuous outdoor track in the country. It is on the National Preservation List,
Register of Historic
Places. And Charles has made an acquisition of Lime Rock Park.
Well, and we are. I put together a group of very, very wonderful partners who are very involved in motorsports and media and other areas, and we are joining Skip Barber, who's going to stay very much involved and be very much an owner but he will transition out. He's owned it for 38 years. He's done an amazing job of preserving and enhancing the track, and his name is absolutely synonymous with high performance driving. I mean, he is literally the godfather of that. And
Paul Newman did some racing there.
Paul Newman had his first race. He had his last race. It was basically his home away from home. And obviously, there's no more famous resident of Westport than Paul Newman. So he has very, very had very strong feelings about it. And
It's like Longshore, right? I mean, it kind of it just needs some TLC. It needs some love. It was ignored for a long time, and now it needs some care. Austin Dillon raced there. Joey Logano raced there. Tom Cruise raced there. Roger Penske once won a race at Lime Rock Park Raceway. So that's a pretty special place. What do you want to do with it?
Again, another project that is very important and needs to be carefully thought through, and we will work with the town there very much so to see what elements can be added, and how the track can be more diverse in terms of its offerings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it evolves. I mean, things like electric race cars are something that's now happening, which of course are not as noisy as internal combustion engines. So that may offer up opportunities. Bicycles are the largest bicycle event in the United States.
All right,
is at Laguna Seca Raceway in California, and who would have thought that a sports car track in California would be hosting the largest bicycle event in America?
That's wild.
So I mean, I think there are all sorts of interesting possibilities.
What's the fastest you've ever driven, and in what car?
Fastest I ever lapped Lime Rock was in a 1956 Aston Martin DB3S, which was a sports racing car of the mid-50s. I only raced historic racing cars in my day when I was thinner.
And how fast?
I lapped at about 102.
102, that's it?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm old and slow.
I too am old and slow. Okay, if there are any other questions, we are going to get to some of them. Please get them in now because these guys are very busy and they got to run. But there are a few questions here and probably ones that you're not prepared to answer just yet. But Turn My Page would like to know, will there be any renovations and or ways the space will be elevated this year or in 2022? Or will it look largely the same for the rest of the year?
Oh, we're continuing to do, we're adding a new fence outside. There are things happening, but we're really trying to get our big plan together.
So largely it will remain unchanged. And when you open a restaurant, will it be remodeled or?
Yes.
It will be. Okay, so that would be the change that you would see. There was one other question, and I'm sure you can answer this. Will there be music on Sundays?
I sure hope so.
You sure hope so. You like that?
Yes.
How about brunches? Because brunch here, I mean, we got Easter coming up. I wish it was open because this was always a locked-in reservation for me. How much priority will that be?
It's a high priority.
It is, okay.
Definitely. It's a great brunch location.
It is idyllic. I used to so many Easters I spent here with the creepy Easter bunny. All right, is there any other questions for these guys? Because they got to get out of here related to the inn at Longshore or the restaurant that will be named? We don't know. No hints. I thought we could get you to drop that. So you don't have any idea, like even what type of food?
Lots of ideas.
Yes, lots of ideas.
You can break some news right here. Everybody's watching. Everybody's ready. They are lock boxes.
Not ready. Yeah, we're lock boxes on that one. We're no final decisions made.
Okay, and what this room we're in right here, isn't this the room that used to be home to the golfers? This was the spot, right?
Prior to Splash, yes.
Okay, and what's going to be done with it?
To be determined.
You really don't know yet.
We don't.
You guys are really good at keeping secrets. I thought I might surprise one and get you to offer something up. All right, last chance. Any last questions? Sunday live music is the best, says Wendy. So apparently that is the popular choice. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you being with us. And everyone is very much looking forward to coming in this restaurant, coming back to this beautiful hotel. We can't wait.
Having weddings and birthday parties and bar mitzvahs, and that's really the thing.
That's what this place is all about.
That's what
right?
this place is all about. I mean, you're just focusing on the bar. and
You
bringing,
know me, Charles.
Yeah, and bringing your kids.
And this place is really, you're right, it is all about those weddings and those bar mitzvahs. And I assume that really hurt not having them here.
Totally.
And what do you imagine those being different? The events, the bar mitzvahs? I mean, how will that be addressed? I mean, that was such a staple of this place.
I think Longshore does a great job with weddings, and we've kept all the same staff. Is still here. We kept the place open through the winter and COVID, and everyone's here and ready to get back to work. So.
And you kept the whole staff. That was important
all the
to
key
you
staff.
both.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about all the weddings that were canceled?
A lot of those have been pushed into 21.
Okay.
Some of them have been pushed into 22. So.
But they all stuck here?
For the most part,
That's
yes.
terrific.
Yes.
That tells you how special this place is for people, doesn't it?
It does.
That you can't replace it.
You can't.
No, I don't think we have an open Saturday this year until November right now.
So if you're hoping to get married here this summer,
Wednesday's a great day.
Fridays and Sundays are still available.
Yeah.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
You probably even catch a deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, absolutely. My mother was from New Zealand, and they never got married on Saturday when she grew up. You got married during the week. I think that's a tradition we should start here. And New Zealand has won the America's Cup, so they're,
I did not expect that random knowledge you just dropped down.
There you go. That's why you know that.
Did not see that coming.
Wednesdays are great days to get married in New Zealand, and why not in Westport?
Well, on that note, I've heard from local groups that say, hey, we'd love to rent out the Longshore on like a Wednesday night when they don't have a wedding or a bar mitzvah. Will that be a priority to really open this place up to some of those local groups that want to be here?
We'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Great. So that one was for my wife because she really, has a lot of local groups that would love to be here during the week. All right, let me make sure there were no last second questions. How about painting poles out front? Oh, painting the poles. Oh, the columns. And straightened? Are they not straight?
I think about the power poles?
I don't know.
I think he's talking
You're going to have to help me out there,
talking
Kathy.
about that one by the flag there.
Oh, okay. All right.
That looks like you could use some paint.
That looks like it could use maybe a full reboot. Yeah. All right. Very informative session. We appreciate that. Again, thanks everybody. Get your weddings here, bar mitzvahs here, the restaurant we think mid-June, and the hotel is going to be a complete remodel. So tell your friends to go back and watch the beginning of the interview if you missed anything. They addressed all the changes coming here to the soon-to-be-named. He's good. Anything else you want to say to Westport?
Thank you very much for coming to visit.
Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.